Hostin's obsession with race gets thrown back in her face. Today's video comes to us from sunny Hostin. Sounds like a town. We're in sunny Hostin.
A furious argument breaks out in the video as Greg Gutfeld shows off his masterful satire skills and spectacularly defeats sunny Hostin. The ideal setting for Gutfeld's scathing comedy is her startling admission that her ancestors owned slaves. Gutfeld doesn't hold back when he calls it karma, or imagines the unpleasant fallout on The View. The irony of Hostin's identity-focused advocacy colliding with the unsettling facts of her family past is shown by him with his signature humor. You won't want to miss this gem, which is full of incisive critique and amusing remarks.
I'm a little bit in shock. I just always thought of myself as Puerto Rican, half Puerto Rican. I didn't think I was, my family was originally from Spain and slaveholders.
Yeah. So how are you feeling, my friend?
I think it's actually pretty interesting that my husband and I have shared roots.
Yeah.
So I do appreciate that. And I think it's great for our children to know this information. I guess it's a fact of life that this is how some people made their living, on the backs of others.
The self-described racial justice activist and outspoken reparations supporter Sunny Hostin discovers that there is a plantation-sized skeleton in her family tree. Oh, the irony. Her stuttering, wow, I'm a little bit in shock, is hilarious. Seeing her struggle with the realization that her ancestors were the oppressors, not the victimized, is funny for someone who has dedicated their career to talking about white privilege and structural oppression. She switches the subject to her husband and children, adding a little sugar with the line, "I think it's great for our children to know this information." Don't miss the lyrical evasion. Of course, Sunny, pretend that the uncomfortable truth is a delightful tidbit for the family.
Fact of life. Interesting change of tune. For more, we go to our chief Sunny Hostin correspondent for a reaction. Lou, is this karma or what?
Well, first, I just want to go on the record to let everyone know that I am very much against slavery. Very brave to say that on this panel. Karma, definitely. I mean, it's one thing. It's going to be so awkward on new episodes of The View when she tries to pull the race card.
Yes.
And then she's like, "America is racist," and then they're like, "Yeah, they might be racist, but they're not like slave owner racist." like somebody that we.
That's so true. Oh, I'm gonna milk this till the end of time. Yeah. You're right. Anytime she says something stupid, I'm gonna go, "Slave owner." Kat, I just watched that. That's the second time I've watched that. She was tipped off beforehand, right? Because they had to tell her before, so she had time to regroup.
When Greg Gutfeld joyously tore apart Sunny Hostin's self-righteous facade following her huge ancestral oopsie, he must have been in hilarious nirvana. Gutfeld quickly weaponizes that delicious irony by calling it karma after the woman, who never misses an opportunity to preach about racial justice, learns that her family tree was irrigated by slave sweat. He relishes the poetic justice of her duplicity coming to light, picturing her writhing on The View as she clumsily avoids the indisputable stain on her family tree. His promise to exploit this until the end of time is the icing on the cake, revealing her identity-driven advocacy to be a thin facade. The absurdity of a millionaire who plays race cards and must face the uncomfortable reality that her ancestors were complicit in the very oppression she loves to condemn is perfectly captured by Gutfeld's mockery, which ranges from casting doubt on her authenticity to portraying her as the epitome of performative wokeness.
Because when you're presented with new information, it's okay to change your mind. It's good to change your mind, but you should acknowledge that has happened.
Exactly, because if she is shaming descendants of this, will she continue to do that when she is now one of them, Dana? And it is funny. She is so wrapped up in identity, and she had no idea who she was.
Well, now we understand why she always makes Whoopi get the coffee.
There was no better setup for the hosts to take aim at Sunny Hostin. They turned her ancestral bombshell into a humorous punching bag, and their responses were a master study in scathing sarcasm. Essentially giving a TED Talk on personal development, one of the guests pointed out that Hostin is obstinate and hypocritical because she is unable to adjust her mind when confronted with new evidence. She is so wrapped up in identity and had no idea who she was the pièce de résistance that followed, making fun of her identity politics. Bravo. This irony was so deeply layered that a knife could cut through it. The Whoopi Goldberg coffee-fetching zinger was dropped just when you thought they were finished, making Hostin's business relationships a joke. In disguise as criticism, this was a roast rather than a critique, gleefully destroying the public image of a lady suddenly torn between her awkward family tree and her moral soapbox.
True.
But you think about things that she said and how offensive they are.
Yeah.
Well, karma.
Yeah, it is karma. And that's coming from someone who's descended from the Keebler elves.
Yeah.
You make a mean cookie, and now we know why.
23andMe was so confused.
Exactly. Your family lived in a tree trunk.
Sunny Hostin's lineage revelation was transformed into a full-fledged comedy sketch, complete with tree trunk dwellings and Keebler elf comparisons by the hosts, who truly went above and above this time. Well done. As though her entire public image fell apart the instant her ancestors' wrongdoings were revealed, they joyfully referred to her predicament as karma. Her support for racial justice is plainly nullified now that we are aware of her long-dead family, isn't it? To further emphasize the point, they then descended into ridiculousness, making fun of genealogy tests and distilling her family's history into a joke about cookies and elves. If the intention was to make a difficult moment of introspection into a circus act and belittle it, then the purpose was achieved. It is the epitome of journalistic integrity to make fun of someone's heritage in order to garner a cheap chuckle. Until the Keebler elves return home, they are obviously prepared to take advantage of this prank, so Sunny had better be careful.
Yo, your great-grandfather was actually Pinocchio. Why does it, when you get insulted, people feel bad?
Because they love me, Greg.
Great geography.
Greg, in her defense, everyone has ancestors that did unspeakably horrible things. It's just that not everyone's ancestors have records tied to their DNA about it. But I'm more worried for Sunny Hostin's progeny in the future that do a DNA test and find out that they were related to a cast member of The View. And they're like, oh, it all makes so much sense now why I'm so stupid and fat.
All right. Terrible. Terrible.
It was quite a show, to be honest, as the hosts completely destroyed Sunny Hostin. Her self-righteous act, which was based on her preaching about privilege and oppression, was set up for failure the moment her DNA revealed that she was descended from slaveholders. Her entire moral facade was brutally taken down. The Pinocchio jokes and View insults were only appetizers. In addition to being nasty, that remark about her children being fat and stupid was a reflection of how completely ridiculous her credibility has become. Hostin was further pulled into the dirt by the flimsy admission that everyone had forebears who committed terrible crimes. Furthermore, the hosts can't help but find it hilarious that a millionaire with a race card struggles with her family's plantation-sized skeleton. Sunny's sanctimonious attitude, now tainted with hypocrisy, was the ideal subject for this unrestrained satire. If her identity politics served as a shield, the DNA results destroyed it, and the hosts quickly trampled on the fragments.